Hi, this is Karin from the YA Library, and today we are going to be making blueberry muffins in a mug in the microwave for one. So let's gather some supplies and get started. So these are the ingredients that we're going to need to make our blueberry muffins in a mug in a microwave. 1/3 cup of flour, all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of white sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of butter, salted butter, and we're going to melt that, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, 1/4 cup of milk, and 1/4 cup of blueberries. Fresh blueberries are best for this recipe. You're also going to need a mug. I'm going to use this large mug here. I've already got my melted butter in there. I recommend using a larger mug as opposed to maybe a smaller coffee cup mug, just because you'll have more surface area for your blueberry muffin to bake in, and hopefully it won't be too soggy then. So gather your ingredients together and we'll go on to step 1. For step 1, you want to melt your butter in the mug in the microwave for about 30 seconds. So this is my butter and I already melted that. When you're putting your butter in the microwave, you can cut it up into smaller pieces beforehand, and that'll help it melt a little bit faster and more evenly than just leaving it in one big chunk. I had to put mine in for a little bit longer than 30 seconds, but I started with 30 seconds, mixed it a little bit, and then added another 10 seconds, and then it was completely melted. So that's what it looks like when it's melted. Step 2. We are going to add the flour, the sugars, vanilla, and the baking powder to our melted butter in the mug. And then we're going to add about 3/4 of our milk and mix all of those together. If you find that your batter is too dry, you can add the rest of the milk. I thought mine was pretty wet after about 3/4 of that milk went into there. So we'll do those steps. So here's our melted butter again. Here's 1/3 cup of flour. And this is a tablespoon of the white sugar, the granulated sugar. And then I have a tablespoon of brown sugar to add to that. And then 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. And now I'm going to add most of, but not all of the milk that I have. I'm just going to reserve this little bit off to the side if we need it. And then we're going to stir this up. And the batter will start to thicken a little bit as you stir it together. You don't need it to be perfectly blended, but once it starts to become this sort of consistency, perhaps you've made muffins before and you're familiar with sort of the muffin batter consistency. This is pretty good. I'm not going to add any more milk to mine. Like I said, if yours is drier than this and you want to add the rest of the milk, you can. The only difference is that if I were to add the rest of the milk to mine, it might be more blueberry cobbler-ish or blueberry crisp-ish, so like a moister batter. But if you leave it at this consistency, then it'll be more muffin-like when you're finished baking it. So now we just need to add our blueberries. So about a 1/4 cup of blueberries. I've got a container here. See how good I am at getting these into the 1/4 cup measure. I'm gonna add a few more by hand. I like blueberries a lot, so I feel like that's a good amount. And then just fold those in gently until they're kind of evenly distributed in your batter. You can use other kinds of fresh fruit for this. Raspberries or blackberries would be good options. And possibly apples. Maybe chocolate chips if you've got a sweet tooth and don't want to do berries. I would recommend that you use the fresh ones though, because if you use frozen, you could do that, but maybe defrost them first, just so that they don't prevent the rest of the batter from baking, because they're only going in the microwave for a couple of minutes. So we have completed step 3, which was to mix in the blueberries. So now we're ready to move on to step 4, which is the baking process. I love how fast this is. So step 4, we are going to place our mug with the muffin batter in it in the microwave, and we're going to microwave it for 2 minutes. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back and show you what the finished product looks like. Step 5 is to eat and enjoy, but you might want to wait a couple of minutes for your muffin to cool off because it's going to be hot right out of the microwave. I have just removed mine from the microwave, and here's what we've got. You can see it's a little bit moist at the edges there, but when we lift it up, it's baked all the way through, and it looks delicious. Maybe not as neat as a muffin that you make in your oven that has a nice little muffin tin or paper wrap around it, but eating it with a spoon is totally fine. And it's nice because these are individual sized, so if you only want one blueberry muffin, they're perfect. I've been wanting to try and make mug muffins for a long time, so I'm glad that I got a chance to try this recipe out with you. So I hope yours turn out successfully as well. So my muffin cooled down enough for me to actually try it, so here's, I'm going to see if I can get the spoon in my mouth and hold this at the same time. So I'm happy with how that turned out. Hope yours is delicious. Thank you for joining me today making our mug muffins. Let me know if you try some different fruit and if it turns out well for you. And for more craft and fun videos and ideas, please check out our website, www.huntleylibrary.org. Thanks. Bye-bye.